Good evening and welcome to Poland Daily. I'm Nicholas Richardson and this is the news. Polish President Andrzej Duda took part in Georgia Independence Day and assured the Georgian people that Poland will continue to be their reliable ally and promote Georgia's accession to the European Union and NATO. Our unity and solidarity must stand against any imperial march, Duda said, referring to Russia's assertive stance in the region and to his predecessor, President Lech Kaczynski, who visited Tbilisi in 2008 while Russian tanks were preparing an assault on the city. The Polish president visited the European Union observation mission on the demarcation line between Georgia and South Ossetia. Duda called Russia an aggressor whose conduct called for a determined international response.
Na tych terenach stacjonuje kilka tysięcy rosyjskich żołnierzy.
Several thousand Russian soldiers, the entire garrison, are stationed in these areas, plus the FSB forces. The inhabitants are in a dramatic situation because in 2019 this demarcation line was locked by the Russians, and only in exceptional cases can you go to the other side. There are still about 40,000 people living there. Before the war in 2008 it was 100,000 Georgians. They are all in a very difficult situation. The Russians want to call this area a country, but it is not a separate country after all.
Ci mieszkańcy są w dramatycznej sytuacji. Rosja nie jest normalnym krajem.
In places like this you can see that Russia is not a normal country but an aggressor. This requires action by the international community. Next year, Poland takes the chairmanship of the Organisation for Security and Cooperation in Europe. We will deal with it as in the same way we will raise it at the forum of the United Nations General Assembly.
Forum Zgromadzenia Ogólnego Organizacji Narodów Zjednoczonych.
United States President Joe Biden defended his administration's decision to waive sanctions on the company behind the German-Russian Nord Stream 2 pipeline. He told reporters that sanctions against the project will be counterproductive for United States-European relations.
Speaking to Polish radio reporter Marek Wawkowski, the United States President claimed he had opposed the project since its inception.
Why are you letting Germany and Russia to continue building Nord Stream 2?
Because it's almost completely finished, number one. The idea that anything and it's not like I can allow Germany to do something or not. I have been opposed to Nord Stream 2 from the beginning, but it only has, it's almost completed by the time I took office. And to go ahead and impose sanctions now would, I think, be counterproductive.
Experts and politicians challenge the State Department's decision announced by the United States Congress on May the 19th. Member of the European Parliament, Dominik Tarczynski, said on France 24 that the cooperation of Germany and the United States with President Putin is a slap in the face to other countries of the European community.
It's not about consensus, it's about common logic. The common logic for years was very simple. For everyone who cares, for everyone who... And you cannot avoid humiliation from those with who you are making the businesses. Unfortunately, I have to agree, the humiliation is the act of pleasure for Putin against European Union. Why? Because he's making the business with those who call themselves leaders of the European Union. I mean, Germany.
Next month, the United States President is to meet Vladimir Putin. United States-Russia relations have been very strained recently, particularly after the poisoning of the oppositionist leader Alexei Navalny. Only a few weeks ago, President Biden called Putin a killer, but now he has apparently softened his stance towards the Kremlin.
Trump
was not inclining towards an agreement with Russia in this regard. He upheld these sanctions, maybe he did not initiate them, but he did not oppose them. Biden, on the other hand, apparently made a decision about a rather deep political turn and opened the door, declaring that he was looking for cooperation with Russia. We will see now how far Russia can go before triggering an American response. Deputy Foreign Affairs Minister Paweł Jabłonski pointed out that the new American policy may rearrange the balance of power in Europe. Europe is not only Germany. It is not just a few German companies. Europe is a whole range of countries, especially those located in Central Europe, countries associated around the Bucharest Line, whose meeting was held with President Biden remotely. And around Poland and its closest neighbours, it is unlikely to strengthen Russia's combat capabilities. And if the Nord Stream 2 gas pipeline is actually completed, Russia's combat capabilities will be unequivocally strengthened. Many political scientists are pushing the view that President Biden is trying to improve relations, tarnished by the Trump administration, with his most powerful, both economically and militarily, ally in Europe.
Odmowa
Refusal to impose effective sanctions on Nord Stream 2. The statement that this is basically an investment, that its completion is so advanced that it is practically a foregone conclusion, is a sign of an American decision, a political decision, that Germany will now be the pillar of American policy in Europe, in the hope that it will take over some of the burdens of common transatlantic security from the United States. On June the 16th, Joe Biden will meet Vladimir Putin in Geneva. Politicians are to discuss the future of bilateral relations, a plan to fight the pandemic, global nuclear security, as well as regional conflicts. But from the point of view of the Polish raison d'etat, a reset in Russian-American relations would be extremely unfavourable.
On Sunday, Belarus committed an act of state piracy by forcing an international airliner to land in Minsk to arrest opposition activist Roman Protasiewicz. His family fears that he has been tortured and will be murdered. Meanwhile, the country's dictator, Aleksander Lukashenko, said that Belarus is under international attack. In response, European Union countries are closing their airspace to Belarussian aeroplanes.
Natalia, the mother of Roman Protasiewicz, believes that he was beaten. After reviewing the video of her son recorded after his arrest, she said that he has a broken nose, his septum is displaced, and some of his teeth are knocked out. In his first public remarks in Sunday's piracy, Belarusian dictator Aleksander Lukashenko called Protasiewicz a terrorist who had been plotting a rebellion. Lukashenko accused the West of waging a hybrid war against him. Following Lukashenko's comments, the European Union Aviation Safety Agency advised EU airlines, as well as non-EU carriers, to avoid Belarusian airspace. The actions undertaken by Belarus amounted to an increased safety risk for the flight and put into question the ability of Belarus to provide safe air navigation services, EASA said. According to data from Flight Radar 24, a Belarusian plane flew round and round in circles over southwest Belarus. Belarusian state carrier Belavia Flight 2869 from Minsk had been scheduled to land in Barcelona on Wednesday afternoon, but only made it as far as the Polish border. Poland's Air Navigation Safety Agency said the pilot did not receive permission to enter French airspace. Belavia declined immediate comment on the flight, but said it has been banned from flying to Lithuania, Latvia, France, Sweden, Great Britain, Finland, the Czech Republic and Ukraine.
And now the coronavirus report. After nearly 58,000 tests performed on Tuesday, there were 1,267 new cases. Another 209 people died of the coronavirus infection.
So far, over 2,868,000 people have become infected with SARS-CoV-2 and 73,305 have died. Over 18 million vaccines have already been administered in Poland. Almost 13 million people have been vaccinated with the first dose. 5,855,700 people are now fully vaccinated. On Tuesday, nearly 292,000 vaccinations were given.
May the 26th is Mother's Day in Poland, where the festival has been celebrated for 107 years. The first celebrations took place in Krakow in 1914. We give our mothers flowers, chocolates, cards and other gifts, but most of all we show them that we care. That's the news. Thank you for watching. Stay with us for the weather, Poland Daily Business and more programmes. But from me, it's have a good night and a better tomorrow.